All right. Hello, everyone. My name is CJ Cortis. This is the first time that I am going live. So we'll see how that goes, if it's a huge flop or not. But anyhow, this is going to be SEO explained with CJ, and it's going to be a little short conversation where I just talk about some form of marketing that we're working on or have dealt with over the years, and talk about my thoughts on that. And we'll see where that goes. It'll hopefully be bi-weekly, monthly, even maybe weekly live discussions. I'll send out emails. But if I could ask anyone to go ahead and hit subscribe to any of the channels, in particular, YouTube would be great. And then we'll share it out on Facebook. Um, X, as well as LinkedIn, the company at the SEO Contractor. So CJ, the CEO of the SEO Contractor, and we've been in business since 2011. So what I wanted to talk about is weak websites and weak leads. Websites are not SE like websites and SEO are not independent of themselves. A lot of people think, oh, SEO, and they hear this terminology SEO, and then if you talk about their website, they're like, oh, yeah, I need a website. And it's almost an afterthought. The website's not as important as the SEO. So, what I wanted to talk about first was websites and how important they are, because your website is your SEO. Your search engine optimization is that you're optimizing your website. So, when you think of search engines, there are a lot of ways to get found: paid advertising, the map listings, and the websites. Um, and often when you refer to SEO, it's really the website that we're referring to, possibly the map as well. But that's just a different beast. It's not like the website. So the maps are really about reviews and location based. Paid is all, that's a whole nother thing, paid. But SEO is your website. So I wanted to start to get everyone on the same page with how important it is to view your website. So you need to be looking at your website as this powerful tool that you have the ability to generate leads from organically in search engines. And that's what search engine optimization is. It's your website going to the gym and working out. And every website starts off as the skinny guy in the gym. Another metaphor that my brother and business partner likes to use is your credit score. Everyone starts out with a credit score, and you have to build that credit. It's the same as going and working out. You start out at the level of where you are, and you have to work out to get somewhere. Not everyone is going to be a bodybuilder or have perfect credit in the first month, in the first 6 months, in the first year necessarily. So what we need to do is look at our website as this powerful tool, something of importance. It is our business displayed to everyone with all details. I mean, in other words, if you own a retail location, then you don't just put the retail location up and never, think about it. You are constantly, making sure that the signage, the paint, the interior design, everything's like up to date. The interior of it is being organized, and things are moved around and updated and consistently. So the website is your representation of your business online. Some of the smallest companies can look huge just by their websites, and larger companies can look small by their websites. So if you want your website to generate traffic in search engines, and you want to consider search engine optimization, then you're going to want to view your website as this powerful, robust entity that is its intellectual property of in itself. Um, and if you are a business who's trying to represent yourself via your website, are you going to want to put out just generic content on small amount of pages, or are you going to want to display yourself in a robust, unique way? Are you going to want to make sure that you're connecting with all kinds of other websites out there that can help boost and benefit your website? Are you going to put content out there that's unique and beneficial to you? There might be hundreds of competitors in your industry, but they're not you. So make sure that your content is valuable to you. Google wants you to contribute unique content. They don't want AI recycled junk. It doesn't mean AI is not important, but it means your content being unique to you, being robust, being a display of everything is what's important when it comes to your website and in turn your rankings in Google. So let's say that you are looking at getting SEO or doing some form of SEO with a company. First off, you don't want them to own your website. You want to own it. You don't want just a generic website that's looked at once and never talked about again. You don't want AI writing your content. You don't want a small, tiny website. You want a large, robust website. You don't want to be inactive and just make this website once. You want this website to be growing and updated and adding to every single month, every single week, every single few days. That's the kind of thought process you need to have. The website shouldn't be an afterthought. And oh, I hired this company, they did some great stuff, now I pay them a small amount a month and they've got some kind of just software doing its thing or whatever. That's not the route that you want to take. You want to make sure that you understand what's going on in your website. Where are we targeting with our pages? Where are we targeting with our content? What is making us unique with our content? What other websites are we connecting to on the internet? Let's put it this way. If you have, say 100 competitors and Google's looking at all 100 of you and saying, which one of these 100 do I want to put in the number one space for this industry and this search term and this location? Well, first they're going to look at all these sites and then they're going to start comparing them. And when they compare these sites, they're going to say, which one do I feel is offering the best service for the person who's searching? And then they're going to look at all kinds of signals in order to do that. So a small, inactive website with generic content compared to a very large, robust, active website of unique content that's being updated constantly, which one of these 100 do you think Google is going to put at the top? Do you think, they're going to put the small 5-pager that's never been touched since it was created? Or do you think they're going to put, the other larger active site on there? And remember, there's a lot of competition. It's not, in this case, there literally are hundreds, if not thousands, of competitors for certain industries in certain areas. And you're looking at trying to get in the number one spot out of these people, but your website's going to be small and weak and inactive and an afterthought because you hired a company for SEO, but oh, I don't care about the website. They do that for free. Like that's just a selling tool to basically say, hey, you don't care about the website. We do. So we'll sell SEO. We'll give you the free website. And then we really know that in our SEO efforts, we're going to drive paid click ads. That's what a lot of SEO companies do. They package SEO into a click bundle and really just generate advertisement via leads so they can get you something instant while selling the terminology SEO and then not really going as crazy as they need to on the site. That's what we've tend to run into when we see some competitors out there. So point being, don't look at your website as an afterthought. Don't look at your website as something that's just there representing you. A weak website is going to be consistent with weak leads. Now, that doesn't mean if you've got billboards and radio and TV advertising that you can't be pulling in a lot of leads. So when I say weak leads, I'm referring to leads that could be generated from your website. So even if your business is generating leads from other sources, that's fabulous. But the leads that it could be generating from a strong website in search engines, it's capable. So if your website's weak, then your leads from the search engines are most likely weak as well. And there's an opportunity there. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. Google sees the whole picture. So since this is a live stream, I'll give you a quick overview of the next few topics. Google sees the whole picture. Then we're going to talk about the plan, paying attention, and then giving it time. The first deal was basically how to view your website as not being independent from SEO. It is SEO. So now Google sees the whole picture. What does Google sees the whole picture mean? It means that Google's looking across the internet. They see signals from everywhere. They see signals from social media. They see signals from directories. Directories being like your Google My Business map is a directory. It's got your name, address, your phone number. Well, your name, address, and your phone number is on directories all throughout the internet. Super pages, YP, Bing, Hopfrog, all these sites that you can't even help that you're on. So you're already there with correct or incorrect information, whether you even know about it or not. It exists, and Google sees that. Those are directories. Um, People call them like local listings, right? Some people call it local SEO. It's a form of it, but I would, argue that it's not only, local SEO is much more than just directories. So, anyhow, the whole picture: social media signals, website signals, paid advertising signals, display ad signals, um, what we just talked about, local listings, etc., backlinks, links that you've got connected to other websites, all kinds of stuff that's going on, news, press release, distribution, basically anything on the internet that's going on relating to your business, your company name, employees' names, anything tied to the company is going to be considered like signals, as um, people click on this page and navigate to another page. People click on this post. People navigate through your social media pages, post, comment, share. Um, you know, Use your website, use your map, do a review, type in a name, click your website in the search. Like all these things that are happening are all signals that represent your business across the internet. So Google sees all of this, which means that you need to make sure that you've got the right information, good signals going on fully. So when I say this, what I'm really looking to say is that there's not one thing that works or doesn't work necessarily. It's like the whole. So if you think of a sport team, right, you might have some of the best players on the team, but in order to win a championship, you're not only going to need the best players, the best coaches, um, you know, even good branding and representation of your team. People like teams for a lot of different reasons. So some people like teams just because of the kind of branding and the feel of them, the name of the team, even something as small as that, people might cling on to. So what wins championships and what gets people like supporting you is often when everything aligns. The alignment is just there. The team, the players, the representation, the coaching, the ownership, the management, it all aligns in a way where the championship just flows because of that beautiful alignment. And then sometimes you've got some of the best people around, but they're not on the same page with something. And that's what I'm relating to when it comes to Google. Um, just doing paid ads isn't going to be the only thing that works. Just doing SEO isn't the only thing that's going to work. Just posting on social media isn't the only thing. Just doing local listings, it's not about just picking one thing and being like, oh, this one thing, Google loves this. If you actually talk to or hear people talk in Google, like Google staff or Google, experts, they'll say something like backlinks isn't what gets you to the top of Google, or they'll, just basically pick any kind of deliverable that you could do to a website or just online, and Google's going to say that thing is not what makes you get to the top of Google. Because if one thing was what got you there, then everyone would do that one thing. What Google is always saying is, we want unique content that represents your brand and is relevant to what the searcher is trying to seek and find. That's the one thing that hasn't changed from Google that I've noticed over the 13, 14, 15 years plus that I've been doing this. And everyone says Google changes, Google changes. And they do. Their algorithms change daily, and then big core updates, monthly, like sometimes a few times a year, but sometimes every month they're doing core updates too. But like big updates, maybe, once a quarter, used to be once a year, but it seems more frequent now. Anyways, the point being is that as much as Google's changing, and they are with their algorithms, it seems like they're always focused on the same thing, providing the most relevant search for the person who's typing in what they're searching for. And if Google's going to deliver the most relevant search for that person searching, then they're going to analyze the whole picture. They're going to see how much traffic is coming to your site. How many sites are you connected to? How many signals are going off on your social media and your reviews? What are people saying in those reviews? Google will say that they don't consider people who run ads, as a factor. But they know when people are running ads, and they know that when they're running those ads, those people are getting more clicks, and that more clicks are providing more data. What's your profile look like across the directory sites? Have you changed offices and phone numbers, and now you've got mismatched information, and now you're confusing because you've got your name written here the way you used to write it, but now you have a new DBA and write it this way, or you switched offices and got that new phone number, but it's here and here the old one, and now it's confusing. So my point being is Google's looking at the whole picture, and they're using that whole picture to decide who's the best website to put at the top for this relevant search. So when people come and say, "Oh, I want to be at the top. I want to be at the top," and they're a brand new business, and there's hundreds of competitors, they have to build a profile. They have to build strength. They have to build relevance. They have to build signals, user behavior, and you have to prove that you're better than the guy who's already at the top. It's not impossible. It takes a while for some people. Some people can get there faster. Some people are already close, and they don't even realize how close they are because they've been in business for years. And if they just did a few things, then they could tweak and get above that guy who is at the top. Um, is so many different factors involved. The point being is, at first we talked about looking at your website is something that's strong and important and relevant, and you don't want a weak website. Well, you want to make sure that you're looking at the whole picture in addition to, what does your profile look outside of your website? Are you active on your social medias? You don't have to be active every single place, but don't dabble here and dabble there. Be consistent with what it is that your business is doing, and make sure that you're consistent and relevant and unique along the way. You're talking about content that relates to your business. You're unique to the way that your company handles and manages this content, and you have chosen a few marketing verticals, like a website, like some social media accounts, and maybe some paid advertising. And you are going consistently on those things because Google's seeing the whole picture. And when they look at those 100 competitors that we talked about, and you're trying to be in the number one spot out of those hundreds, are they going to look at you and see someone who's relevant, who's unique, who's active, who's consistent, whose profile is looking great across the board, who's showing strong user engagement, who's showing strong connections to the community and other websites? Or are they going to see a website floating out there by itself, hasn't really been touched in a while, kind of small, maybe some one-off social media things here or there, and mismatch information across directory listings, and some mediocre reviews? Which company would you choose to be at the top of Google? Which company would you choose to use? And Google understands that. That's why they're choosing the company that they think is the best for that user. So that's what Google's looking like as a whole. So websites are important, strong, not weak. Pay attention to them. Look at your profile as a whole across the internet, the way that Google does. Um, One thing I mentioned was that your website's like someone going to the gym. So one topic that I wanted to just touch on real quick before I get to the last one is, if you are going to the gym at the beginning, I'm obviously not going at the gym myself, and I don't have a personal trainer, so this isn't the best advice, but you'll get the concept. I've always heard you have to start with your core first. You're not going to try to build all these big muscles if your core isn't strong, right? So if I were to start going into the gym today, which I probably should, then I'm going to want to make sure that my core is strong so that it can handle the growth of everything else as I continue. So with your website, the best thing to focus on at the very beginning is a strong core website, strong core site with your main services, your main information that needs to be displayed, and that information is optimized to be found for your most relevant services in your most targeted area, and that the content is very unique and relevant to those services in those areas. So if you can look at your website at the current state and say, maybe my website is brand new, just like someone going in the gym. I got to get that small core site updated. Maybe my website is really large and grew over time, but I haven't really been paying attention to it. But my company's 5, 10 years old and it's just kind of naturally grown. Well, you still want to go back and audit almost like a cleanse, juice cleanse or whatever to that site, to check the health of it and make sure that the core vitals are in place. So whether your website's brand new, farther down the road, revisit it if you haven't in a while and make sure that the core is solid. So once you got that core, now we can build upon that. Um, a lot of times the site gets so big, we start looking on the back end in Google and you realize that, hey, I've got hundreds of pages. Google hasn't even indexed half of them. I've seen this plenty of times. I've seen this with our site where we've written a bunch of blogs. Some of those blogs have done really well, but then you look and a lot of those blogs might not even be indexed in Google. So you might have web pages that aren't actually in Google, even though they're on your site. And you might not even realize it because they might have been in Google at one point and then been kicked out. And why would Google kick out a page or not index a page? Why would Google crawl through it and then decide not to put it in its search engines, which it does often? Well, the reason is maybe that page exists, but that page has no traffic, it has no links, has no connections, has no promotion to it. It's not being used. If Google sees pages on your site and they aren't being used, they're not being connected to anything, are they really serving a function that your user needs? Because to Google, that doesn't seem like it's very usable, needed content, right? So they're not going to index it. You start tweaking that content, promoting it on your social media, maybe driving some ads to it, connecting it with some other websites, getting some traffic to it, showing some user behavior. People are liking it when they're on it, they're staying on it, they're reading, they're going to other pages. Google now sees this as useful content. Page is indexed. So those are the kind of thought processes that you want to have. But like going to the gym and like working out, you want to start with the core. Even if you're a big site, go back to the core, make sure it's solid. Then we'll go audit the rest of it, clean it up, add to it, remove some, drive traffic, all these things that we need to do to make it active, get it working all the way around. So, last thing that I'll talk about before I wrap up is plan, pay attention, and give it time. So, this isn't for me just an SEO thing. If I was doing something like TV advertising, um, billboards, in this case, this is my first live stream, right? There's probably 0 people on this live stream right now. Maybe next time I do it, there's 1 or 2. I'm going to have to be promoting this. I'm going to have to be sharing on my social media. I'm going to have to be emailing it out to my customers. I'm going to have to gain things over time. And if I give up and just do this one and say, hey, I got no traffic to this one, then it's never going to work. Same with the billboard. You put that billboard up, you got to watch it. You might get some leads right away because it's a billboard. It's in a high trafficked area potentially, right? But with anything, you want to plan what you're going to do with these marketing efforts. Then you want to pay attention to them. Then you want to give them time. I always say think quarterly when it comes to marketing, but ultimately I'm looking yearly, right? With SEO in particular, I'm looking yearly because what I know about SEO, if you look at it on a credit score type metaphor, like I talked earlier, SEO is like walking up the stairs with a yo-yo. Okay. You're going up the stairs, but those ups and downs daily, you can get lost. And it's like if you check your stocks every single day, right? You can get lost in those ups and downs. Think you got to sell, think you got to buy, you get lost in them, right? But you start looking quarterly, 6 months, yearly, that's where you really see what's going on. Um, we look, weekly, monthly at all of our customers' rankings, right? Sometimes you'll look at a customer weekly and monthly and be like, oh man, they shot up, they shot down, they're up, like where, what's going on? Then you look back at that yearly snapshot and you're like, okay, the trajectory is up. Okay, I've been seeing a lot of this, but it's going up. So, um, but you have to make a plan. Your business is only a certain size, so it can only do so much at whatever size it might be. So you might not be able to do social media every day. You might not be able to have a budget to do paid ads in as many areas or platforms as you want. Your SEO might not be able to be as active and robust as it could be, depending on the size of your business. Um, and with that being the case, you're going to want to set out a plan and say, hey, you know what? My budget is, X amount, and I don't want to put my eggs in one basket. So why don't I spread my budget for the next quarter to X amount of, marketing channels? Okay. Then I do those channels. I make tweaks as needed, but I don't give up after 1 month. I don't give up after 2 months, even if it's not as perfect as I was hoping. But I look quarterly and I say, hey, this quarter, I wished it could be better, but is it going on an upward trajectory to be better next quarter? And I've got to keep it going, or do I really need to pull out of this? With SEO, I say you don't pull out of any SEO that you start for at least a year. I mean, at least. There's customers of mine who have started and moved their way up and up and up. And when you look back 2, 3 years later, you're like, wow, you went from 70 people to your site a month to 3,000 a month. But within that 3 years, those monthlies, man, they can get like, it's hard to tell sometimes monthly. But then if you start really looking quarterly, 6 months, and yearly, especially, that's when you see, like, wow, this year my traffic doubled compared to last year. Okay, great. Some months might have been, ups and downs. So I didn't really notice the doubling. But then I looked back year after year and I was like, wow, it doubled. That happens often, but if you don't give it the first 12 months, most likely a lot of people give up on SEO within the first 6 months. They've got these expectations that my phone is going to be off the hook, right? And that's just not the case. There's other things that can get your phone ringing immediately, but you stop paying for those and then they drop immediately. SEO is something that's an investment. You are consistent, and the growth is residual, right? So make a plan. I'm going to put some money here for this paid advertisement to get immediate. I'm going to put some money here for social media to promote branding and our message out. I'm going to put some money here for SEO, and I'm going to watch these rankings for the next 12 months. And then you start paying attention quarterly. And then you use those quarterly to make adjustments. And that doesn't mean adjustments like stop the whole thing. It means tweaks. Am I targeting the right area? Am I targeting the right messagery? Am I actually using the right budget? Is it time to up a budget? Is it, what should I do there? And then you give it that time. So that is weak websites and weak leads from the perspective of SEO is not independent from your website. SEO is your website. Google is looking at the whole picture, including your website. Your website needs to have its core worked out first before you can expand upon that. So if you haven't looked in a while, make sure that you're doing an audit on that core of your website if you're not getting the results that you believe you should be getting. And then plan, pay attention, give it time. We like to look at things quarterly, 6 months, and then especially yearly. So that's SEO Explained with CJ Cordes of the SEO Contractor. So hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. We'll do a new topic and a new live stream every few weeks. And we're looking forward to see you on board. Please subscribe to our social media channels at the SEO Contractor and our YouTube channel for these live stream notifications when they go out. All right. Thank you so much.